Good morning, Cambridge class. Today we're going to be looking at rounding larger numbers. Again, you're going to need a pencil and some paper, and again, I want you to listen out to see if I make any mistakes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be looking at 10,000 numbers today, rounding to 10,000. And we're going to look at these numbers here on this number line. So if I'm rounding to 10,000, my nearest 10,000 whole number, I could round to 20,000 or I could round to 30,000. And we're just going to have a look at where these numbers lie in a number line. So I know that 22,000 is closer to 20,000 than it is to 30,000. So if I was to round 22,000 to the nearest 10,000, I'd round it to 20,000. Let's look at the other side here. 28,000. 28,000. If I want to round it to the nearest 10,000, I can see on my number line it's closer to 30,000 than it is to 20,000. So 28,000 would round up to 30,000. Now I've got 25,000 here. Now we know that the 5 is a special number. It lands right in the middle. If I am going to be rounding to the nearest 10,000 number, then that's the place I'm going to be looking at, my 10,000 place. And the number immediately to the right gives me my clue. So if I want to round 25,000 to the nearest 10,000, I'm going to move it up and round it to 30,000. That's what we're going to be practicing today. We're going to be rounding to the nearest 10,000. So we can use a number line to help us, or we can use a place value grid to help us. So my number here is 23,469. Now when I round, I'm going to round to the nearest 10,000. So I definitely need my 10,000 counters, and I need 2 of them. And it's the digit on the right hand side, the digit immediately to the right of my target number, that's going to help me. So I'm going to put my 3 thousands in here. And when I round, all of these other digits will turn into zeros. So I'm not going to put anything in my place value grid here because I know that I don't need them when I'm rounding to 10,000. I only need these 2 places to help me. So if I want to round 23,469, the nearest 10,000, I'm going to look at my 3,000s here, and they're less than 5. So it means that this number is nearer to 20,000 on a number line than it is to 30,000 on a number line. So if I was to round to 23,469 to the nearest 10,000, my number would be 20,000. I'm going to let you go and have a little practice. You can draw a place value grid if you like. Have a practice at rounding these numbers to the nearest 10,000. Here they are. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, I'm hoping that you rounded 87,613 to 90,000. That was the nearest 10. And I'm hoping that you rounded 69,747 to 70,000. That's the nearest 10,000. Well done if you did. Okay, now using the same method, I want you to have a go at rounding each of these numbers to the nearest 10,000. You can use a place value grid, or you can use a number line to help you. Pause the video and have a go. How did you get on? Let's have a look. This was a tricky one down here because 4,999 doesn't round to 10,000. It's not big enough to round to 10,000. So it rounds actually down to 0. On my number line, I'd have 0 and 10,000. So that one rounds down to 0. How did you get on with the others? Okay, let's have a look at this one. It says circle all the numbers that round to 23,000 when rounded to the nearest thousand. I'm just going to highlight these for you. This says rounded to the nearest thousand. This says rounded to the nearest hundred. And this says rounded to the nearest 10,000. So be very careful. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, how did you get on? Did you find them all? It says rounded to the nearest 23,000 round to 23,000 when rounded to the nearest thousand. Which of these digits, which of these numbers rounded to 23,000? We've got this one here, and here, and this one, and this one. This one didn't round to 23,000 because by rounding to the nearest thousand, that 5 is quite important. That would mean I'd have to round it up. Now, the next one says rounded to 45,500. So I need the hundreds place to help me with this one. And this one rounds to 45,500. And this one. And this one. And this one. And C. Rounded to 70,000 when rounded to the nearest 10,000. So I've got to find all my 10,000s place, and oh, all of those round to 10,000. Okay, so our next job is we're going to round these numbers to the nearest thousand and then to the nearest 10,000. Pause the video and have a go. How did you get on? Well done if you got them right. This is our last activity for today. You can see we've got a newspaper report. It's the back of the newspaper, and it says that 80,000 people attended the White Rose Football Club match. And you're being asked to find out what's the maximum number of people who attended the match. If the number was reported, was rounded to the nearest 10,000. So if 80,000 is a 10,000 number, what could the largest number of people have been? And if 80,000 had been rounded to the nearest thousand, what could the largest number of people be? Now, I'm not going to give you the answer to this question, but if you email me with your answers, I'll let you know whether you were right. Tomorrow, we're going to look at rounding to the nearest 100,000.